Hi, in this video I'm going to show you how you can actually create a manual drop order. A drop order is an order that you would manually type into the system. As we all know, orders can come into OrderWave via a lot of different sources. They can come in through a shopping cart, they can come in through what we call our API or our DFI processes where orders get imported into OrderWave. But sometimes there's a need for you to be able to just manually type in a drop order, and that's what I'm going to show you today. Now, the way you access that is you actually are going to go to the OrderWave Explorer, and you're going to click on the Orders button, and that will open up a new set of menus for you. And one of the options there is Add an Order, so you'll click on that. Once I do that, you'll see a new tab open up, and the system will prompt you and ask you what type of order you're going to be adding. Now, this is primarily only to categorize the order in OrderWave for reporting purposes and so forth. They both really serve the same function, but all you're doing is you're defining the type of order, whether it's a business to business order or a business to consumer order. So I'm just going to go ahead and click on business to consumer, and a search button appears along with an input box where I can actually type in and do a search based on a variety of different criteria you can see right down here. And I also have the ability on the right hand side over here of entering a new customer. So if I wanted to do a search, I can simply just type in what I'm looking for and click on the search button, and the system will go out and look for those records, and you can see it's displayed them. And it's also got billing address and shipping address for each one of those records. Or I can just click on enter new order, which is what we're going to do for this demo. Once I do that, you can see that it comes up and it asks me for the information, and it asks me if I'm a business address that I'm typing in or not. So I'm just going to go ahead and put my information in. And you can see we give you plenty of address lines as well. So sometimes you've got somebody who's got a third address line. And once I type that in, I've got a copy button, so if I want to copy my information over, I can simply just click on copy and move it over. I'll just get my phone number in here as well, and my email address, and I'm just going to copy all that information over to the business or the shipping address as well. Now I've got an area down here that's called source, and what that's for is in various different reports in OrderWave, we've got a source area, and whenever you're creating a drop order, the default to drop order as the source is the order source, but you can actually change that to whatever you'd like just by overriding it in here. I'm just going to leave it as drop order, and I'm going to click on add customer. What that does is that creates the order for me. It automatically assigns an order number. Here's the source that I just referred to. I've got the date of the order, my email address is in here, and now I've got a little wizard that tells me that in order to finish my order, I need to do the following: add items to the order, add shipping, add a payment if I'm going to be charging the customer, and activate my order. So I'm going to go ahead and click on add items to the order. Once I do that, a light box comes up asking me what items I want to add to the order, and I can do this by either typing in the item number, inventory number, putting a description in, or I can actually pull it up based on folders. I can also browse by just clicking on the browse button, and what that will do is it'll bring up all the different items that are in the system. So I'm going to go ahead and add one of these items here, and the system will actually pull the price based on whatever is in the inventory system. So if I don't have a price in the inventory system, it's going to come up with 0, but if I do have a fixed price in there, then it will actually display the price that is in the inventory system. One additional thing to note here is that if my user account has the ability of adjusting pricing, then I could actually adjust the price based on whatever I want to, but if my user does not have that ability, then I'm not going to be able to adjust the price. I'm going to have to use the price that is in the inventory system, unless it's a $0 price, in which case I can adjust it. So I'm going to go ahead and make this a $40 item. You can see that it prompts whether or not this item is taxable, and it defaults it to yes, and whether or not this item should be marked as paid. Marking an item as paid, if you're, let's say for instance, receiving a check in the mail and you've already deposited the check and now you're creating the order to ship the items out, and OrderWave's not going to do any processing for this, then you need to mark the item as paid. So you would put a check mark in there to indicate that there's no payment that's necessary for this item. If you're inputting a lot of orders in the system, and you don't want to have to mark each one of them as paid, but they all are paid, there's a way, which I'll show you, where you can actually mark them all as paid at one time, and we'll do that at the tail end of this order. I'll show you how that's done. And also, if you're shipping out something where an order, let's say it's a promotional material, and nothing is actually being sent out to the customer, or nothing's being charged to the customer rather, but you are sending out the sample or promotional products, then you do want to make sure that you also either mark it as paid or clear to ship, which is the method that I'll show you to mass mark everything as paid. So here I'm going to go ahead and just say add the item to the system. You can see the item's been added successfully. This box remains here only because if I want to add additional items, I can use the same method to add as many items as I want to the system. But I'm just going to have that one item. I'm going to close this up. And now you see a check mark has been put under add items to your order. And if I scroll down on the order, I will see that there's an item that's already in there. I'll just scroll up here. I also want to note that once an order is created, we have this bar that's on top, which changes colors based on the order status. You could see that if I hover over this area, it says this order is being initialized because it hasn't been activated yet. The order is not complete. It's missing some elements, so it's in an inactive state at this point in time. So now I'm going to go ahead and click on Add Shipping to my order. Again, a light box comes up, and it gives me different service types that I can choose from. Now the system is going to pull this box up based on how your shipping table is configured. So when your account is initially set up, if you create a shipping table, then whatever shipping table defaults are listed are going to appear in here. If you do not have a shipping table created, then all ship methods will appear in here. And if you don't know what a shipping table is or would like to know how to configure a shipping table, then watch the video about shipping tables, which will tell you how to do that. So I'm just going to go ahead and choose a method. I can override the price again if I have access to adjust pricing. If I didn't, then I would have to be forced to use this price. And I'm just going to go ahead and click as save. And I'm going to exit out of this. So now I've added shipping to my order. Now I'm going to add a payment method. If I'm not charging anything, then there's no need to do this. If I'm, again, if I'm going through and marking all my items as paid, there's no need to add a payment method to my order. But in this case, I'm just going to state that there is a payment method, and I'm just going to click that. Brings me down here where I can specify if it's a credit card or a check. I click on the next button, and then it'll ask me for the credit card number and the expiration date. And I just click on add. And you can see that it's added, it recognizes that it's a Visa card, and it's added my primary payment method. So it's made it the default method. And last, what I need to do is I need to activate my order. Now this activate order is the same as clicking here for activate order. And a lot of these other things like add items to the order, could be done by clicking on the add line item. The shipping part could be done by add edit shipping. It's just that when you create a new drop order, it makes it really easy for you to just kind of follow these quick steps to get your order completed. So I'm going to go ahead and click on activate order. Now once I do that, a light box comes up, and it's going to ask me whether or not I want to associate this order with a multi-payment profile. So if I have a multi-payment profile set up, then I can actually associate this order with it. A multi-payment profile is breaking up the order into multiple payments, and we have a video that tells you how to configure and set up multi-payment profiles. So I suggest that you watch that if you want to learn more about it. If this order is just to be charged in one charge, then you will not need a multi-pay profile, and you leave it set to the no payment profile, which is what the default is. But if you know that this order is part of a multi-payment and you want to select it, then you would just choose the profile that you're going to use. Also, you've got different payment options. You can see here one of them is activate this and schedule payments, and the other one's just activate the order, no payment processing. So going back to if you marked all your items as paid and you want to ship this product out, because there's not going to be any payment. Let's say again it's a promotional order that you're sending out to somebody, then you'll use the just activate this order, no payment processing. The same is true as if this is a promotional order and there's no payment processing that's needed, but you did not mark everything as paid because there were multiple line items and you didn't want to have to go through the process of marking each one as paid. You can click on this and I'll show you once again there's a way that you can mark all those items as paid after the fact. But if this was a regular order and you are charging the customer and you want the system to schedule the payment or payments for you, then this is what you would use. Activate this order and schedule payments. What the system will do is it'll actually schedule a payment. The payment will get triggered and hit in a short period of time, usually anywhere between 15 minutes to an hour, and then the order will go through the workflow and eventually go to fulfillment for having a packing slip generated and so forth. One additional thing to note is that if you didn't want the system to charge the order for you, but you wanted to charge the order yourself because you've got the customer on the phone, then you can actually just activate the order, no payment processing, and then you can manually go in and process the payment yourself, but the system will not do it for you. So in this case, I'm just going to go ahead and activate the order and schedule payments, and I'll leave it at that. The last thing you can see is a hold order until. What this will let you do is it'll actually let you hold the order for a future date. So if you are, let's say, taking an order for somebody and he says, oh, I'm going on vacation, can you ship that out in a couple of weeks? Then you can actually schedule the order to ship out in the future. And you can put the order in the system, but it'll have a future ship date to it. So I'm going to click on save here. And now my order, you could see, has been activated. You can see the when I hover over the bar here, it shows that it's an active order. It's changed colors, and now I've got my order complete in the system and ready to go. Now let's go back to mark as paid. Again, if you're using promotional products and you're not charging anything and you just want to clear the order to ship so it ships as quickly as possible, and you did not mark individual items as paid, there is this clear this order to ship. What this basically will do is it'll go through and mark all line items as paid, so it'll get the order cleared to ship. You're only going to use this if you want to mark the items as paid. You do not use this any other time because the system, if there's a payment that takes place, it will clear the order to ship once the payment successfully takes place. So this is something that you want to use for shipping out products that you've either already collected payment on or that are promotional where no payment is going to be needed. A couple of other things that I want to note here, and that is that if I scroll down a little further, you'll notice that this item is highlighted and is a different color, and if I hover over this little icon, it shows that the item's on back order. So this is not going to actually charge until inventory comes in. There's quantity on hand of 0 in this particular warehouse that I have that I'm defaulted to. You also have all your subtotal, tax, and total listed here. If I wanted to add additional items to this order, I can do so now, but the order is going to change statuses. So if I want to edit it and add line items before the system does anything with this order, I have the ability of doing that. But throughout the course of the order changing to different statuses, some of these functions will be removed. For example, if the order has already been charged, you can no longer add a line item to it because the order has already been charged and is on its way to fulfillment. Same is true for some of the other functions. So you'll see some of these things dim out as the order status changes. Same is true for some of these other functions, like the shipment functions. You can't reship items because the order hasn't shipped yet, or you can't reverse a shipment because the order hasn't shipped yet. And if you want to learn more about these functions here, then we'll cover these in a different video that talks a little bit more about how to manage orders in OrderWave. Just a couple of other things I want to point out. I'm going to click on the Process tab here, and I had scheduled payments for this order. I think that when I went through the Activate order, I went in and clicked on Schedule Payments, and I could see that I've got my payment scheduled. I can click on this, and this tells me that my payment's scheduled for October 2nd, 2009, and this is the amount that's scheduled to charge. You also see the processing attempts here that show how many times this order has been processed, and whether or not it's successful or not successful. But I'll close that up. And I also mentioned that when you add an order, if you tell the system do not schedule payments because you want to charge it immediately, you do have the ability of processing a new transaction just by clicking on this. You will be able to specify that you want to make a sale. If the payment already has been scheduled by the system will alert you and say this order is scheduled to be charged. So it's really important that you do not have the system schedule a payment and then you go in there and try charging an order, because the customer is going to get double charged. So if you've scheduled the payment for the customer and you don't want the system to make the payment, you'd rather do it manually, then what you'll need to do is you'll have to go in and actually view the schedule, edit it, and then you can cancel the payment and manually do it. But it's either you do it or you let the system do it. Once you click on schedule payments or payment, the system's going to schedule it, and the system's going to assume that it's going to handle it. So if you decide to change your mind, you need to either cancel the payment that's scheduled in the system and you need to charge it, or you need to just let the system handle it. So in this case, I'm just going to close this up. I'm not going to change the payment, but this is where you would do that to handle the payment. So more advanced features of this are available in a different video. If you just do search for orders, order details, then you'll see additional videos. But that in general is how to handle and drop order, how to enter a drop order into the system. And I hope this video was helpful. Thank you.